I'm going to take your microphone. So despite all the problems, we still have a very good time. And now I would like to give the floor to number 8, Mr. Milos Zeman. The microphone is working. And as I know what the presentation looks like, I wonder whether he is going to need a microphone. But yes, I am. My motto says that if you are given paper with lines, do not use them and write across. It was Juan Jimenez who said that, because sometimes going against the flow and breaking the rules which are unnecessary or dumb is sometimes better than following them. And what I consider dumb is a PowerPoint presentation, and that's why I have decided to protest and to stage a little provocation. And that's why my presentation only consists of 2 slides. The first one and the last one. There are several advantages to this approach. Firstly, there is no risk of showing how impotent I am regarding modern technologies, as some of the previous candidates have shown. And secondly, when I'm going to read my presentation, you cannot think that it has been prepared by my advisors. Now I'm going to talk out of my heart. So I'm not going to talk while you are reading my words on the screen. This approach is only valid when there is a considerable number of illiterate people or people with hearing disabilities. So I'm not going to give you general phrases such as I'm in favor of democracy, I'm in favor of prosperity. Please, have you ever seen a presidential candidate who is going to tell you I am in favor of dictatorship, I am in favor of economic downturn. I'm not in favor of phrases, and I may be surprisingly not in favor of obvious self-presentation. In the remaining 4 minutes, my task is to present here my vision, my dream. And my vision is not that I'm going to be the president. The vision is not about my individual future, but about the future of this country as a whole. Every one of us should look around, mainly around Europe, and unlike in the case of privatization, we are not here to come up with an original solution. We need to look around and find sources of inspiration. And that's why I picked up this title, mentioning Scandinavian social state. In my opinion, the Scandinavian social state can be a great source of inspiration for the Czech Republic. There is a difference between a politician and a statesman. A statesman is able to be humble rather than a politician who only focuses on his 4 years in office. On the other hand, statesmen should focus on a much larger term. I realize that the way to establish a Scandinavian social state here in the Czech Republic would take many generations. It could take 20, maybe 25 years. But all the same, we should embark on this journey. I'm going to mention Sweden, but I could also mention other Scandinavian countries. According to Eurobarometer, it is the Danish who are the happiest country in Europe, even though they are not the most wealthy. Scandinavia, namely Sweden, have the greatest progressive taxation. The wealthiest ones have the income tax of 60%. But all the taxes are used to the advantages of the Swedish people, invested into education, into healthcare, and in my opinion, investing into people are much more beneficial than investing into concrete, whatever we plan to build of it. Sweden, and this you might not know, is the second best country in terms of competitiveness out of the 150 countries monitored by the OECD. So despite high taxation, they are very competitive because they invest the funds back into their population. And another fact, Sweden have paid back the whole half of their public debt within the last 10 years. So to sum it up, well, my message is do not speak in vague general phrases. Do not turn this into self-presentation. Let's focus on our dreams. I have a dream. These are not only words of Martin Luther King, but these should be the words of every politician who has a dream, and then it is my duty to present this dream to the society so that it can reflect on it. Thank you for your listening.
Please stay with us for a while. Mr. Zeman? I've just been wondering, I was looking forward to the old Milos Zeman. I expected that you would be the only one who would not be able to react to all the others. Why do you accept the invitation to a debate that you think is stupid? To tell everyone that it's stupid? Yes, that is so. Are you sure that Sweden is the closest country for the Czech Republic? Well, let's ask which country is closer. If you say Greece, I will tell you that you don't understand Europe and that you don't understand economy. If I say if you said that, Mr. Šídlo, I know that you haven't. Well, but you are right about something. We need the Scandinavian welfare model because I think we would be jobless since tomorrow with our technical capabilities. Well, you can turn around. I'm sure you wouldn't obey us anyway. Well, is that your son? Well, we used to have an election poster with Zeman, Buskova and Gross, and people who mocked us called us they called this poster Mom and Dad are taking their boy to school. And at that time he was no innocent boy, but he was going through an interesting stage of his life, and he asked me to be his best man. So how do you remember Mr. Gross as his political father? Stanislav Gross was a social democrat before I was, and before I entered this party he became the president of the Social Democratic Youth. But in any case, I doubted Stanislav Gross in the moment when Henry Kissinger was in my office, and I told him, I would like you to meet a young social democrat. Mr. Gross came into my anteroom and he asked, who is Henry Kissinger? And ever since then, man. I know that this was my human resources failure. Well, the last time I heard this story was in 2002. Could you tell us some more HR failures in your political career? Mr. Šídlo, you should read my brilliant book, whose name is How I Was Wrong in Politics, and there I named about 20 mistakes I made. The first one was when I was 9 years old, when I mourned the communist president Klement Gottwald. And you also praise Vladimir Putin for his fight against bourgeoisie. Is that a mistake too? Well, Vladimir Putin has achieved one thing that we haven't, if nothing else. And this is that he defeated a few of the oligarchs. Not all of them, but at least some of them. And here, whether it is Krejčíř or Peter, they are not in any prison in Siberia, where this is not happening because Siberia doesn't belong to us. But if they are in prison, then I will stop praising Vladimir Putin. Yeah, but why haven't you succeeded during the clean hands action? You said that you will find 50,000 criminals, economic criminals. My government sued 2,500 of these criminals, whether alleged or real. About 1/3 was investigated by the police, and in another third, the attorneys have not started the trial. And in the last part, which came as far as the court, the people were acquitted, or their sentences were very moderate. One example, a certain man who got a loan from the bank of 1 million Czech crowns, and he didn't pay back. And he was acquitted by the court with an explanation that it was not a loan fraud, but a erroneous business vision. This is the end of Milos Zeman's presentation. I can say that one of the most severely punished people was his own Minister of Finance. If anyone has suspicions about their ministers, they should make them resign immediately. I hope Mr. Nečas will follow this example.